Hi everyone. Uh, I am very happy to sit here to talk on curriculum implementation in view of CBME, competency-based medical education proposed by Medical Education, Medical Council of India. Because of this COVID issue, this all of us are not able to sit together to undergo for these training programs or to have any kind of workshops or one day, at least one day program on sensitization of this curriculum development. And that's why I would like to throw on some light on this curriculum preparation and to frame the curriculum to implement on basis of CBME. It's because the first batch of this new the first batch which have trained in the first year according to the new regulations of MCI in medical education is coming to the second phase of MBBS from the August onwards. In this regard, I would like to share some of my views on this curriculum implementation and curriculum implementation support program. And the Medical Council of India proposed the Medical Council of India proposed curriculum reforms in MBBS in MBBS curriculum for undergraduate medical education in 2010 itself. And after so many a lot of exercise on this particular aspect, the first batch was started to train the students on this aspect in the last year itself. And in view of this, so many colleges are preparing the new curriculum, and this curriculum not only to be prepared and it has to be implemented in a perfect manner, and it also plays a key role to acquire the required skills by the Indian medical graduate. And in some of it's very pity to say that in some of the areas this particular competency based medical education, the curriculum was confined to papers only. It was not come to the classrooms. But if that is the case, there won't be any use by framing all the new education guidelines by the Medical Council of India. And one more thing is, in preparing the curriculum, all the people have to be involved, and the head of the institution has to see that all the people should involve in that. And without having the concerned people to prepare the curriculum from all the phases, it won't be fulfilled. And this curriculum reforms focus mainly on teaching in integrated manner, and also the making the students to become competent in clinical competencies, and flexibility and improvement in the quality of training. All these are very important in this curriculum reforms. And these curriculum reforms are mainly focused on competency-based medical education, where from each topic, each subject, all the required competencies will be given, and each competency, for each competency, we have to write down the specific learning objectives, and based on the specific learning objectives, we have to choose the suitable topics from the syllabus given, and accordingly we have to teach by using the appropriate teaching learning methods. So in order to roll out the curriculum successfully, the MCA and its nodal as well as regional centers had conducted are conducting curriculum implementation support program workshops for sensitizing the faculty of medical colleges about the competency based undergraduate curriculum. And the how to approach for this curriculum implementation support program, that's always by means of faculty development programs through the medical education unit. So without conducting the faculty development programs, this curriculum implementation innovations will become a big trash. So this won't be proper and it won't be in a professional. And so all the faculty members who are involved in this new curriculum implementation have to be trained through the medical education unit, and have to develop the guidelines and supportive documents to implement it. And before going for this one, we have to have the learning cycle by the student. And usually we expect the students from incompetent to competent. So from students, when the usually student is coming into the medical college, they will be novice they will be ignorant, or nothing will be known for the students regarding the medical knowledge. From there, from unaware of the knowledge to they become aware, and from incompetency to they have to become competency. That competency also, they should become unconscious competence. They should acquire unconscious competence. That means automatically the activity have to go on. So here, from the unaware and incompetency, the student when they join in medical college, he will be unaware of the medical knowledge, and he is having incompetency in particular subject, learning the skills. And from there they'll aware of the knowledge, and after that, if you give the knowledge, they will be aware, but still incompetency will be maintained because they may not acquire the required skills. So by giving proper training to the students, they'll become competency, they'll acquire the competency, but with the conscious competency. And to perform, to deliver his activity in proper way, the competency has to be delivered unconsciously. Unconsciously, the competency has to be acquired. That is always by means of practice, practice, practice. Say for example, the student, if if you want to learn about the recording BP and our blood pressure, by the time he enters the medical college, he will be unaware of how to record BP and regarding all the related aspects of the blood pressure. So we will give the knowledge in the first step, and then we will give the demos and all, and so that he will be aware of how to record BP or blood pressure, but he may be incompetent in recording BP. Just he may be knowing about how to record BP theoretically, and he might have seen the demonstrations but not able to record. But if you give the training to the students in that particular aspect, they'll acquire that skill with much consciousness. And if you give repeatedly the practice, then the student will do it without his knowledge. Sometimes like that, he will acquire the knowledge or skill. And then what is integration, which is most important part in the implementation of the competency based medical education based curriculum. Integration is organization of teaching matter to interrelate or unify the subjects frequently taught in separate academic courses or departments. So the same topics which will be discussed in different departments or different academic courses will be put together and will be taught at the same time. That is integration, which is very important to acquire the relevant knowledge to apply and the healthcare patient care by the medical students. And it occurs when relevant components of the curriculum are connected and related in meaningful ways by both the students and teachers. So the relevant topics or components in case of integrated teaching have to be taught in a perfect way, and it has to be understood by the students as well as teachers. And what are the types of integration? We have the two types of integration. One is horizontal integration, another one is vertical integration. Horizontal means the topics or the subjects related to the same phase will be taught together. Say for example, any topic if you take either from anatomy, physiology or biochemistry, all the three topics which comes under three different topics will be taught together. That is called horizontal. So all the topics in a from a particular phase will be taught together is known as horizontal integration. And the same way in medicine, surgery and gynec, if the same topics or relevant topics are taught together, then it will be considered horizontal integration. Vertical means the topics related to the different subjects from the different phases will be taught at the same time. Say for example, if you take any topic, the topic, if it involves anatomy, pathology and surgery, will be taught at one place. That is called vertical integration. And so this vertical integration will be taught by using the case scenarios, and whereas horizontal integration will be done by using the subject topics. And then, and by using the cases to teach in the class, all the times we will not be able to get the patients, and so we have to go for the case scenarios or paper cases, and by using the photographs or x-rays, by interpreting the laboratory reports, by using the ECG, we have to teach to the students. And assessment also very important. This assessment, how to assess, also will be framed by the curriculum committee, and in any institute. For that, the support from medical education unit and all the HODs also required. So the assessment will be done. We have to take the feedback first from the students. Based on that, we have to ask them to write the reflections, have to maintain the logbook, and by using the theory tests like essays, MCQs and short answer questions, and by going through asking students to attend for Viva, and OSPE, that is objective structure practical examination, or objective structured clinical examination. In some of the universities in India so far are applying this OSPE, is being is continuing, but with the implementation of this CBME, all other universities in India also have to go for this OSPE method of assessment. And then curriculum. This to fulfill the CBME, that's competency based medical education guidelines prescribed by the MCI, we should have the proper curriculum, and how this curriculum have to be governed. So the curricular governance is then the process established to design, deliver, evaluate, improve the curriculum in medical education. This is very important point to remember. This is always a teamwork. This is always a teamwork, not a one-man show. And then the questions to be asked while framing the curriculum or while implementing the curriculum: who is accountable for this curriculum? Who is responsible for this curriculum? Who will support to deliver this curriculum? And who will evaluate and provide necessary inputs for the existing curriculum? And the organogram for curricular governance or curriculum governance is highermost authority is the dean or principal of the institute, and he is responsible for the quality assurance and improvement in the curriculum, and he has to, or he or she has to appoint the curriculum committee, and this curriculum committee it will work in relation with in mutual understanding with the medical education unit, and all the other HODs of the various departments. So this medical education unit will act like a liaison unit between the curriculum committee and the heads of the departments, and everything, all the curriculum implementation, all other medical education related activities should go through the medical education unit. And this curriculum committee has to appoint in in association with the medical education unit, have to produce, have to frame the alignment and integration team, and also it has to frame or form the curriculum subcommittees. And the curriculum committee members have to frame the curriculum subcommittee from each phase, like phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. From each phase have to frame the curriculum subcommittees. And in phase 1, anatomy HOD and key faculty from the department will be the subcommittee members, and the physiology HOD and faculty, key faculty from the phase 1 will be the subcommittee members, and biochemistry HOD and other key faculty will become the subcommittee members. So the subcommittee members from each phase, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 will be have to be there, which will who will help the curriculum committee to frame the curriculum to implement according to the CBME guidelines given by the MCI. Next one is who is accountable for delivery of curriculum. The responsible higher official is the principal or dean of the medical college, of course with the heads of all the departments and clinical administrative staff. The role of the heads of the departments in this regard is very crucial. Otherwise, the CBM implementation of CBM is a very complicated process and which requires much of coordination. So unless the heads of the departments are involved perfectly, it's very difficult to implement. And the curriculum committee will be responsible for developing the curricular modules and their implementation at their institute. For this, there should be self-honesty, and this curriculum committee should value others and have to maintain the records properly, and the curriculum committee should take responsibility in implementing the curriculum according to the CBME, and have to do the right things and have to act promptly with care. All these steps are very important by the curriculum committee to take the accountability in the implementation of this curriculum implementation. And curriculum committee means it's an institutional body responsible for design, integration, coordination, delivery and improvement of the curriculum as prescribed by the Medical Council of India. And then what is the role of curriculum committee in this process? So it is the overall in charge of the program and its delivery. At least it has to meet 6 times in a year and have to discuss about the progression of the curriculum, and creates the timetable with the help of curriculum subcommittee members and AAT. And so the timetable has to be prepared in association with the curriculum subcommittee members and the alignment and integration team, and provides necessary authority and support for execution of the curriculum, and it's responsible to prepare reports as required by the MCI. So the reports means how many people undergone for the curriculum implementation support program training and revised basic workshop training programs. All these things have to be recorded, and how the curriculum is being implemented and what are the problems erupting while implementing this curriculum, and regarding the assessment methods and how the people are going to acquire the required skills or proper skills from that particular subject. Everything will be prepared in the form of reports to produce to the MCI or to the regional center. And curriculum subcommittee is responsible for implementation of curriculum in each phase, and it works on alignment and integration of the topics. That is very important role by the curriculum subcommittee. This integration may be vertical or horizontal, that depends on the situation, and it develops assessment methods also, and collects the feedback from the students and reviews the competencies, and according to the competencies the SLOs have to be reframed. So once you collect the feedback from the students depending on the requirement of the students, because this is a student centered program, so the competencies have to be reviewed, and once you review the competencies, if you include the new competencies, then new SLOs have to be framed, and accordingly the teaching learning method have to be changed. And this curriculum subcommittee is responsible for reduction of redundancy in each phase. So if any topic is being taught repeatedly, that will be removed by different departments, then that will be removed, and the time will be saved, and that time will be given for the training of the other skills. And role of MEU, that is medical education unit, in this curriculum implementation is faculty training. The teaching faculty training will be given on teaching learning methods and also assessment methods depending on the curriculum framed, and involved in program development and quality improvement of the medical education in various subjects and various phases. And the medical education unit will liaison with the regional and nodal centers of the MCI, and whenever the trainings are required, the suitable and eligible candidates will be selected by the MEU and medical education unit, and they will be sent to the training programs after getting consent from the head of the institute. So the medical education unit plays a major role in training the faculty. So without training in the medical education technologies, it's very difficult to difficult to write down the curriculum from that particular subject and to implement it in proper way to acquire the proper skills from that particular subject. Not only skills, even subject also. And then roles of HOD, the HODs will identify the training needs for faculty and liaise with other HODs to deliver a curriculum. And the HODs are responsible for completion of aligned and integrated topics. Because these aligned and integrated topics are required a separate timetable and coordination and cooperation from other department faculty also. That's why always the HOD will take the responsibility to complete the aligned and integrated topics, and it provides administrative support to the student and faculty support. This curriculum in competency-based medical education mainly will focus on the how best the people are going to acquire the skills. So if there is no administrative support and if there is no some flexibility in the time giving for a particular topic or skill, it's very difficult to train the students to acquire the skills. So the administrative support from the heads of the departments are very, very important for the students as well as to the faculty members to complete or to implement the curriculum in proper way. And then the curriculum committee consists of a member from medicine or allied branches, and member from surgery, a member from the paraclinical departments, and member from preclinical departments. All would be either professors or associate professors, and coordinator from medical education unit, and the student, usually the internee would be the member in this one, because he is the person who already have gone through all the phases of medicine, and he might have experienced the training programs, how they being given and what they are required at the time of internship while they are applying their knowledge to the patient care. So the internee is the best person as what are the things to be included and what are the things to be removed in the training program. And the chairman for the entire curriculum committee is the dean or principal of the institute. And all these should undergo for faculty development program from nodal or a regional center. And who will support, enable and facilitate the faculty to deliver the curriculum? The medical education unit is established in compliance with the Medical Council of India regulations by providing the faculty development programs. So this medical education unit, and with the help of resource persons, will conduct the regular training programs at the institutional level as well as in the regional center if required, the nodal center. And then the people who are really required for knowledge in that curriculum framing will be advised to go for training programs. And support, ongoing support for the curriculum has to be provided by MCI through its national experts and experts from RCs, regional centers and nodal centers. So time to time the medical education technology is going on changing, so that the new innovations in the teaching learning methods and assessment methods have to be taught to all the members of the medical who involved in medical education, either at regional center or nodal center, by the national experts, national or international experts. And a library of resources, videos, case studies, best practices, etc. will be available for institutions through the website. And next one is a collaborative support between teachers and institutions has to be created to fulfill the aspirations of the new regulations. So the teachers should support the institutions, and institutions should support the teachers by listening to them while they are delivering the what is a curriculum. So this, but everything should be in the restrictions given by the institutions or the restrictions framed by the concerned universities. So this collaborative support between the teachers and institutions have to be created to fulfill all the aspirations of new regulations. So this is about this curriculum implementation and support program, and the governance of this curriculum implementation support program plays a crucial role. So whatever the thing you would like to teach to your faculty members through the medical education unit, we have to get the proper support from the head of the institute to train the people. Without proper training, the people or faculty members can't understand what is competency and what is specific learning objectives. Without knowing the specific learning objectives from the competencies, or without framing the specific learning objectives from the competencies given by the MCI in the form of 3 books or 3 volumes, it's very difficult to train the student based on the competency based medical education. For all these things, all the faculty members have to be trained properly in medical education technology. For that, the medical education unit have to play a major role, and for that the institute or the heads of the institutes, head of the institute has to provide utmost support to implement or to do the work on that particular training programs. So this is a very good quotation which I like. It helps people to become honest when they are treated as honest. So if you allow the people to do the something, the people may do the miracles. So that miracles are required to prepare the very good faculty members, and who can serve to their institute to implement the new guidelines regarding the curriculum, so that we can produce the competent Indian medical graduate. Thank you very much.